Necesitas sacar tu paquete de gramática porque hoy vamos a tomar apuntes sobre los participios pasados. El participio pasado en inglés significa past participle. You are in luck because today these notes are pretty short. Primero vamos a hablar sobre el participio pasado en inglés. What exactly is a past participle? I think it's really important that you know what one is in English before we continue on in Spanish. Well, a past participle is an adjective formed from verbs, which is kind of a weird thing to think about because we usually think of an adjective and a verb as being two different, distinct parts of speech. However, we can form adjectives from verbs. In English, past participles usually end in ed, d, t, en, or n. Let's look at some examples. For instance, I have the verb to swell. I can make an adjective out of that verb to swell and say swollen, like swollen eyes, or to break, broken, or to ruin, ruined. So now, hopefully, you have a better idea of what a past participle actually is, so we can talk about how to form them in Español. To form past participles in Español, we have two major steps. Step 1, drop the infinitive ending, so your AR, your ER, your IR, and step 2, add ado for AR verbs and ido for ER or IR verbs. Es muy fácil, really easy, huh? Past participles should agree in gender and number with the nouns they describe. This is a super importante rule. Our past participles, since technically they're adjectives, they gotta agree in gender and number. Aquí tengo unos ejemplos. We've got the verb cerrar, which means to close. I took off my AR ending and I added ado on, but oficina was feminine, and I had to make it agree, so I got la oficina está cerrada. Same thing with perder. Took off my ER ending, added ido, but estamos, there's more than one person, so I had to make it plural. Estamos perdidos. And vestir. Took off my IR ending, added on ido, but Carmen's a girl, so it had to be ida. Carmen está bien vestida hoy. And you can even see over on the right, the English translation side, we have a couple more examples of past participles in English, like closed, which is formed from the verb to close, or lost, which is formed from the verb to lose, or dressed, which is formed from the verb to dress. Just a quick other little side note rule: if the verb is reflexive, you are going to drop the say from the infinitive. So a reflexive verb, we don't really actually care so much about the reflexive pronoun when we're using it as a past participle. For instance, peinarse, we're going to kick that say to the curb, and we're just left with peinado. Now, some of you might wonder if there are any irregulars. You definitely won't be tested over this, but you never know. You might see these in some activities that we're doing, or there might be an extra credit question on a quiz or a test. We do have some irregular past participles. When I'm looking at these, I would say the major ones that I would want to write down if I was you would be like escribir, escrito, hacer, hecho, morir, muerto, because we're learning the verb morir right now in this chapter, poner, puesto, ver, visto, and volver, volto. So maybe write down a couple of the more major verbs if you'd like to help you remember that they are irregular. Don't forget to take the Google quiz once you finish taking your notes.